There are a lot of tools right now that you have access to that you use in AI integration in the background, but you're not necessarily exposed to it. So you kind of take those for granted. So Microsoft is going to be integrating AI tools into all of their products. So Microsoft Teams, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, all of these
So we
things.
need to pay attention to Microsoft tools, all its products.
Yeah, as well, yeah. It's going to be integrated because it's beneficial. It's about saving time. So
And maximizing that dough.
Yes. So that's really important to tap into the tools securely. Right?
All right, there is something that came up, a question, and we have all of this technology. Here in Jamaica, someone indicated that, all right, the expenditures that you have in these financial companies and so on. So we have facial recognition. Why not insert facial recognition AI as opposed to identification, which can be falsified and has been since the dawn of what do you call it, identification.
Yeah,
Why not use that? Why not use AI?
So with that, I haven't actually looked into the return on investment of using it. It may not make sense, right?
Monetarily speaking?
Yeah, it may not make sense to do it. So when you do facial recognition, and there's obviously privacy concerns. I don't necessarily want my face encoded and you can just identify me wherever I go, which is
I
what
can
China
identify
does.
with that.
Yeah, China does that, and they have a global program where they do that, where they actually give you a social score, because they track how good and bad you are, and depending on that score, you may not be able to book
I
a
heard
train.
about it the other day.
Yeah.
If your social score is off,
Yeah, or you can't shop online. It actually checks how much money you're
you
spending
can't
on.
travel
Yeah.
and do some basic human rights stuff.
Yeah, and good intentions, but I wouldn't necessarily want to go there. That's a weird
That sounds
future.
fascist.
Yeah. So for us doing it locally though, the banks may not see the need to do it because there may not be as much value in doing it. So
In this environment,
Yeah, in this
in
environment.
this financial environment
Yeah.
specifically.
yeah, and if we're doing online, if we're doing fully online or digital, facial recognition is something that we're going to need. Because like you said, it's going to protect us from fraud and scamming and those types of things.
I believe that we have some mountains to climb because that accessibility would not translate throughout Jamaica based on the rural areas, the older people getting digitally literate and so on. We're going to take a break at this point. You're watching PBCJ Presents. I'm your host, Maya Chung. My guest is Adrian Dunkley of StarApple AI, and we are talking about artificial intelligence. Stay with us.
Immerse yourself in the elegance and charm of the Courtly Hotel and Suites. Enjoy our jerk barbecue night by the poolside each Wednesday, or celebrate your special events for your wedding, anniversary, birthday, or just a relaxing weekend getaway. Unique, personalized, inviting. The Courtly Hotel and Suites.
Welcome back to PBCJ Presents. We are talking about artificial intelligence. I'm Maya Chung. My guest on the topic is Adrian Dunkley. Adrian, it might not be, as we said before the break, financially beneficial to the current environment, especially things like banking, maybe even credit unions. And everybody who does financials would want better ways of being efficient and profitable, right? You said the face recognition could possibly not be at the place yet here in Jamaica for all of that to go on to replace the traditional pictorial ID and all of that.
Yeah.
However, I'm thinking that I don't get the impression that the masses, I'm a mass communicator, that's my training. I don't think that of 2.7 million people, we really are understanding artificial intelligence. Everybody, as soon as they heard about Alexa, all my friends of all different socioeconomic backgrounds felt comfortable to just fling it in them phone and start chat them business. I was not comfortable. I am already on TV and in the media, and I'm not very comfortable with it. Then to start putting my voice recognition patterns, my shopping patterns, my marriage patterns, it was too much for me. And but everybody was, I want to get my hair colored red, and they seem to see the bad side in places like the first world countries, the Chinas, the Canadas, and those movies that give this very hyperized vision of the good and the bad. And Jamaican people, I not think them to the level that we need to take it serious. I not think we're there yet.
Yeah, so with Alexa, that's a really good point. Like with these types of tools, so risk management is one of my areas as well. Just start with some straightforward questions. So the first question people should have asked in that case was, how does it know when to respond to me? And how it knows when to respond to you is by it's always listening and waiting. So when it's listening, it's recording what you're saying.
The reason
So-
I laugh is because that sounds so sinister. It sounds like I know what you did last summer. Might know it sounds like scary movie. It sounds like The Grudge. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, so there are regulations in place for it abroad and other jurisdictions.
I hear that's ad hoc. There's no overarching body.
Yeah, there's no like global
There
regulation
isn't.
for the use of AI or anything like that. So that's why we need to start looking at it locally to make sure it's used appropriately in areas. Right now, it's kind of wild, wild west. Because even the US, who's the leader right now, US and China, they have very different approaches to it. China is very focused on the state, using it to control and structure the economy and the environment using it. US is, capitalism free, everybody's doing what they want to do.
And in
regulations
fact,
going to-
I don't forget your point. They're actually at odds with it. They're in a race.
Yes.
So that makes their context very, very different and very important when we grab up what they make. Continue with what
Yeah.
you're saying.
So there are maybe less than 10 companies internationally that can build an AI tool at the level of ChatGPT. Just 10 companies, right?
What is the level of Chat GPT?
So
Give me layman style.
Okay, so we're talking about an AI that's very, very good at doing human level tasks. So ChatGPT can write a business plan, it can write a song, you can talk to it and you think you're talking to a human.
I hear that it can take out the mundane nature of activities in business, which would free up the human
Yes.
intellect. In theory, free the intellect to be more creative because you're not numbed out by rote activity.
Yes, so that's the benefit of AI. So AI is, you're looking for a few things with AI. It's saving you time, it's saving you money, it's helping your customers,
Better outcomes.
or it's supporting the development of a better world.
I hear AI can help you be a wedding MC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do songs. We've done a lot of different experiments on work and products over the last 3 years. We've been open, and there's never been a situation where we haven't found a good use of it that we can use to monetize something. Not one. Every single problem that we've seen, and we actually ask people to give us problems, there's a way to utilize AI to support it. But should you use AI to solve every problem? Not necessarily. Because like we said, there are dangers. AI is stupid. No matter how good it looks, it's still stupid. It will talk to you like a human, but it does not know what a human is. It doesn't know what a building is. It doesn't know what words are. It's using mathematics and physics and statistics, combining them to get you something that looks really, really human-like.
Human.
Right. But with the tools, the value is really, really there for persons in rural areas. Person who can't afford traditional education.
Wait, hold on. The
Yeah.
value is really for people in rural
Yes,
areas?
Yes.
Continue.
So,
I didn't expect that at all. Yeah.
so imagine you're going to school, you leave school, a wealthier person can afford an extra class or a personal tutor. You cannot. You can use tools like ChatGPT to create a personal tutor for yourself in any subject ever.
And I guess in rural Jamaica, thinking about wealth distribution or lack thereof, you could just put a center and
Yes.
people could line up and use it.
Yeah, and all you need is internet access, which gets me to the next point, which is AI strategy, AI development needs, as you mentioned, digital literacy. It also needs infrastructure and data.
Where are we on that? Because you're a kingpin in the business.
We are developing, I'll say that. We're developing, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. So the idea is every single Jamaican needs access to high-speed internet, 24/7. If you do that for the country, there's going to be significant benefits to every single Jamaican, and you can lift people out of poverty. So this time in age, information age, I think it's called information age because literally you can become a billionaire off of this, just this.
Your brain.
Intellect, yes.
Internet
Yeah,
and
an
your
idea.
brain.
Yeah.
I will go with that, but if it is that every Jamaican, which is a human being, which saw human beings programming a Sydney into Bing, we don't all tend to go the up way.
But
If we were to focus on that, we'd never do anything, right?
right, and I feel like we do have an established society. There are evil, there is evil in the society.
We
but
are-
percentage-wise, it's not that big. We're mostly good people.
Yeah, but
We
look
are.
at the damage little percent of the
So that's
Mr.
why we need,
Dunkley.
that's why we need government.
The
that's why we need
1% that's a
regulation.
mash up a place.
Yeah, I agree, but that's government. Government needs to step in and, like you said, put guardrails in place and regulate without stopping innovation, which is very difficult to do.
Are we bird feeding from the persons who are more advanced and have more developmental tools already established here
Yeah.
in the Caribbean, not just Jamaica?
Yeah, yeah.
We have to, because
Yeah.
they have the necessary wealth, technology,
start.
brain,
They
head
have a
start.
big head start. So where you, Instagram, Facebook, people are getting majority of their news from these sources.
Their news.
Yeah, their news. Good, thanks.
Yes,
Quote, unquote.
I'm a journalist. I'm offended.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and these are external sources. So
And they're not I'm getting all riled up and thing. They're
Yeah.
not no sources. They're not no journalists.
Yeah.
I see people writing quotes in Instagram things. Boy, you're a really good this is a man stand up at a prime time location and just
just
send up
talking.
some information.
yeah, which
Upon him AI.
the internet democratized sharing.
And
right? I'll say that.
it killed quality.
It is definitely affecting quality.
Yes.
But there are benefits. In war-torn areas, they've utilized it to, organize uprisings and go against communist nations. So there has been value. But yeah, you have more quantity than quality, I'll say that. But think of it this way, which I think is really funny. Our local news stations, right, like PBC or sources or trusted sources, use Instagram, Facebook, to post news.
Yes,
so you're
we do.
posting on a non-Caribbean platform because that's the only way most Jamaicans are going to ingest the Jamaican news. So you have to go all around the world to come back to Jamaica, which is funny when you look at it like that. So that's why they have the monopoly.
Or is it sad?
Yeah, I guess it could be sad. So with AI now, the bigger risk of AI is because you're creating tools that think. And they're thinking like the people who built them, not like us, which means now the people who use it, which are us Caribbeans, are going to be learning to think like people who aren't Caribbeans. So we're going to lose our identity if we continue doing that. So we need to create these
We
products
already
for ourselves.
are losing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can hear it in young children talking with American accents, older people talking with American. I don't like it, or pronunciation is off. But are you privy to any information in terms of legislation? Because governments worldwide cannot be ignorant of what is happening.
Yeah.
They must know how much attuned is the legislative movement towards regulating AI for proper and beneficial use, and to downsize the harmful effects.
So I can speak to international. So most of the companies have already come together and said, okay, AI for good. We need to look at ethical concerns, how it's going to impact job creation, all of these things.
The UN is even getting involved.
Yes, because it's high risk. There are reports of AI being more dangerous than nuclear weapons and all these things. And one reason for that is if an AI gets control of a nuclear weapon, it could fire it, right? That is a concern.
Sydney Bing's friend wanted to get involved in nuclear activity.
So-
that was clearly stated on American media.
So I'll note again that is a person
Yeah,
trying
but
to create a persona. I'll know
destabilize or
that. So
something.
again, it's still humans, The concern, the risk is still humans, It's humans utilizing the AI for bad. It still goes back to a human being coming in. The concerns about AI becoming autonomous and self-aware and then destroying
and just
the world.
kicking us aside and
That I'm not really focused on that because, to be frank, even if it doesn't become self-aware, if it's good enough at acting self-aware, there's no real difference to me. So we need to again put structure in place. So going back to the nuclear weapon thing, let's say you ask the AI, I don't like traffic, I want to get to work quicker, right? And the AI has access to nuclear launch codes, right? It could say, you know what, I'm going to nuke the place because then you get to work faster. Because it is not human. And you need to have someone in place to tell it, no, that's bad. Human life is important. right? So,
And any option that is actually available is not necessarily the deployable option.
Right.
Why them stop chat GPT-5? What is the word on the internet streets or even the streets? What's going on? What is this hysteria? We were just going clock, or the globe was glowing. And then every platform that is discussing this particular, boy, we can't do that right now, you know, we have to put a halt on it. What's going on?
if you look like a duck, if you walk like a duck is a duck. If you call it GPT 4.3, it's still GPT 5 as far as I'm concerned. So I think that was them trying to make a statement for the public.
To feel less threatened?
Yes. So I'm not saying they're not going to put a pause on releasing it, but these tools adapt continuously as you feed it data. So calling it GPT-5 is just somebody saying, oh, we can now put a +1 on it. It doesn't mean it could already be in existence right now.
We could be at GPT-7, don't we?
Yeah, we could, because GPT-4, where we are right now, is released. That's available. You don't usually release something until you have most of the kinks, which means what they haven't told us about is more advanced. There's, over the last 3 months, there's Agent GPT now, there's Auto GPT, which is GPT writing for GPT and controlling GPT. There's so many things going on right now that what you're seeing now is at the tip of the iceberg in terms of the benefits as well as the downside risks, which is what we're focusing on protecting against.
All right, let me ask you this as my swan song. What advice would you give Jamaican people as it relates to this topic? Because you are uniquely positioned to advise as well.
Okay, so first thing is AI is stupid. It's a tool to be used however you want to use it, which is the benefit and the fear. Get yourself educated and upskilled. If you're worried about your job being replaced by AI, there's a chance it could be, but that's no excuse to just uproar and say no AI. Improve your skills and capabilities, not just in AI, but in general technology. Because the more you provide creative value, the more likely you are to have a better and more secure job. Second one is you need to get your kids involved right now. 3, 4, 5-year-old. Sit down with them, use the tool, limit its use in doing homework and certain things like that, but not completely, because this tool is going to be so integrated into our world. It's going to be like a calculator. When calculators came out, they had picket signs and everything from teachers saying don't use them in schools. We moved from that because you don't need to do hand arithmetic right now. Same thing with GPT. It's getting rid of all the monotony that we don't need to do so we can focus, as you said, on creativity and innovation. Third one is reach out to StarApple. We have a program, this is a shameless plug. Nonprofits, government entities, free development of an AI and digital literacy plan, project strategy. You can just reach out to us and you get access to that.
And that is it for this week's episode of PBCJ Presents. I've been your host, Maya Chung. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.
A lot of the children don't have both parents, you know, in the household. So idle time, with idle hands, and then they can go, you know, so we try and target those areas first. And if you don't have a governing body at home where it is that, you know, you can come and have like a structure, then we try and create it in those communities. So this is what, for instance, the Gloves Over Guns initiative does. But once we show the platform and once we find that neighbors, guardians, parents see their children coming into these spaces, then they support. And that's where the community cohesion comes on board. And then it is, you know, you becoming neighbors, people. What's coming is we want to have shows here where our boxers do not need to travel overseas to build a career anymore. They can do it from here.
Yes.
And the Jamaican public can journey with them from their first fight to the World Championship fight. So we're about to launch a series of fights where every 6 weeks, rotating through our communities, we'll be having pro-am fights.